Heartwarming revelation. Wealthy widower takes silent son to park and discovers amazing chang. Jack sat on the park bench, the vibrant world around him a whirlwind of color and laughter. It was a stark contrast to his life after losing his wife. The joyful voices of children filled the air as the sun glinted off the playground. But all he felt was an emptiness that wrapped around him like fog. His gaze shifted to Lucas, his 10-year-old son, who sat quietly beside him, staring at the ground as if the weight of the world pressed down on his tiny shoulders. Jack's heart ached. This was supposed to be a moment of connection, but instead, it felt like a chasm opened between them. As Jack listened to the heartwarming laughter of mothers swapping recipes and fathers exchanging tall tales, he wished desperately for his son to join in. For weeks, Lucas had become selectively mute, retreating into a shell he couldn't seem to escape. Jack felt a burning mixture of guilt and grief, wondering if he was even capable of helping his boy heal. Would he ever hear Lucas's laugh again? Just then, a burst of joy erupted from nearby. Laughter and giggles danced through the air like a melody. Jack looked up to see a little girl spinning in circles, her laughter infectious and filled with joy. It was then that something magical happened. Lucas lifted his head, a glimmer of curiosity igniting in his eyes as the girl approached him. "Wanna play?" she asked, her smile bright as the sun. Jack held his breath. Would Lucas say anything? To his astonishment, Lucas nodded. The quiet boy spoke, his voice barely above a whisper, but the words were a lifeline for Jack, a flicker in the dark. He watched as Lucas and the girl ran toward the swings, both laughing, both forgetting the world around them, if only for a moment. Jack's heart swelled with hope, but it was abruptly interrupted by murmurs behind him. He caught snippets of a troubling conversation. "They're saying the park is closing, budget cuts." Each word hit him like a punch to the gut. This park, this sanctuary, was at risk. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. A fire ignited within Jack. This park wasn't merely a collection of swings and slides. It was a lifeline for people like him and Lucas. He thought of the shared joy he'd seen just moments before. What if I could save it? He pondered, clenching his fists. He realized, as absurd as it seemed, that his wealth and resources could be their best hope against city officials who didn't see the real value of the community. There was an urgency now, a chance to connect with the people around him. It became a mission not just to save the park, but to forge a bond with his son, to teach Lucas about resilience and community. Could he rise above judgment? Could he lead his son to find his voice, to carve their place in this vibrant world? As he prepared to confront the challenges ahead, he could feel Lucas by his side, his timid presence a reminder of what was at stake. The time for action was now. The stakes were higher than ever. Would Jack's determination be enough to save the park and, in the process, help Lucas reclaim his voice? Would love, in all its forms, mend the fabric of their broken lives? The questions loomed, the challenges vibrant. Ready or not, they were about to step into the storm together. Jack's heart raced as he stood up, determination coursing through him. He looked at Lucas, who was still laughing on the swings, and felt a wave of inspiration wash over him. Today was not just another day at the park, it was the day he would fight for their happiness. With heightened resolve, he walked toward the small group of people gathered by the entrance. They were discussing the proposed cuts, their faces painted with concern. Jack stepped forward, his voice steady yet passionate. "Excuse me, everyone," he said, catching their attention. "I just heard about the park closing. We can't let that happen." Surprised looks met him. Some curiosity sparkled in their eyes, but mostly, he sensed skepticism. The park had become a symbol of everything they loved, a place where they shared smiles and laughter, and now someone was proposing to take it away. "What can we do?" one woman asked, her arms crossed over her chest, uncertainty in her voice. Jack swallowed hard, feeling the weight of expectation. We need to gather support. We can petition the city council, organize a community event, anything to show them this park matters. To us, to our children. With every word, he could barely contain the swelling hope within him. Lucas observed from a distance, still rocking back and forth on the swings. Jack caught sight of him and felt an urge to call him over. He needed his son to see this moment too. Lucas! He shouted, waving him over. As Lucas approached, the little girl from earlier followed, her carefree spirit alive as ever. Lucas, we need you. This park is special, right? What do you love most about it? Jack prompted, his heart pounding as he hoped this would spark something in his son. Lucas hesitated, his lips pressed into a thin line. Jack felt the tension in the air, but he remained patient. The little girl chimed in. You can tell everyone about the swings. How high you can go. It was a simple nudge, but it worked. Lucas's eyes flickered with understanding, and slowly he nodded. I like flying, he said, his voice quiet but meaningful. And I like playing too with friends. Jack blinked back tears of relief. This was the first time in weeks Lucas had spoken without force. A small flame of hope had ignited. The group looked at Lucas. It suddenly struck Jack how powerful this moment could be. Tell me, what would happen if we lost this place? He asked, pressuring the crowd. This park is where laughter happens, where kids make friends. If we let it close, what would that mean for our children? A murmur rippled through the crowd, ideas generated like wildfire. A man with a baseball cap stepped forward. What if we organize a community picnic? Everyone brings something, and we can have fun while gathering signatures. Jack nodded vigorously, excitement bubbling inside. This was the spark they needed. And we can document it. Pictures, stories show the city just how much this place means to us. With every word, he could see more faces brighten, feeling the togetherness in the air thickening like magic. As they began to brainstorm ideas, Jack felt the warmth reach out to Lucas, who stood at his side, now clutching the little girl's hand. Jack smiled down at his son. Lucas was with him, finding his voice in the chaos. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows, but Jack saw light at the end of the tunnel. They had a chance, a true opportunity to not just save the park, but also to reclaim everything they had lost. But as the excitement rose, a voice in the distance punctured the mood. It's not going to matter if the city has already made up its mind. A man shouted from the sidelines. Jack's heart sank. Could they really fight the bureaucracy? Would the joy they started to feel be enough? As doubts crept in, Jack felt Lucas's grip tighten. This was their moment. They needed to stand firm against the looming threat. What would happen next? Would they have the courage to face what was coming? Jack felt the weight of the onlookers' gazes like a heavy shroud. The laughter that only moments ago rang through the air now felt fragile, easily shattered by the man's stark words. Doubt seeped in like a cool breeze, chilling the warmth that had just begun to flourish in their hearts. But as he glanced down at Lucas, there was a flicker of something. Courage? Faith? Whatever it was, it ignited a fierce determination within him. Hey everyone! Jack called, lifting his chin, trying to inject strength back into the crowd. Listen to me. We might be up against a big system, but we are not alone. Look at us. We are here together. This park is our home, our children's playground, and our gathering place. As cheers rippled through the group, Jack's heart began to race again. He could see the spark of belief rekindling in the faces around him. Who's with me? Jack urged, raising his fist like a rallying cry. The baseball-capped man cheered. I'm in. A picnic it is. Others echoed their agreement, their voices growing louder, more confident. Lucas squeezed the little girl's hand fiercely, his eyes wide and bright. Are we really going to save the park, Dad? His voice trembled with hope. Yes, buddy, Jack replied, bending down to meet his son's gaze. We're going to show everyone just how much this place means to us. The group huddled together, brainstorming ideas that ignited with excitement. Potluck dishes, games, decorations. Ideas flew all around like leaves in the wind, each suggestion swirling with life and laughter. Amid the buzz, Jack glanced back to where the man had shouted. He was still watching, arms crossed, a hard expression on his face. Jack inhaled deeply, recognizing the man's fear more than his anger. He stepped closer. Hey, he said softly, I get it. It's easy to feel like we're just facing an uphill battle. But this place, it carries memories. It belongs to all of us. The man scoffed, but Jack pressed on. If we love it enough, maybe we can make them listen. Don't you want your kids to grow up here? To have the same memories ours do? Something changed in the man's face, a flicker of understanding breaking through his skepticism. The tension eased. Jack felt the idea of community pulling them closer together, even those who had doubts. All right, the man finally conceded, his shoulders relaxing a bit. Let us do this. Show 'em what we're made of. Jack felt invigorated. They were coming alive together. He could see Lucas mimicking the older kids, pumping his fists, as they all started clapping and chanting, Save the park! Save the park! As laughter melded with new ideas, they decided to make colorful signs for the picnic. Each sign was a message of love, joy, and hope, filled with children's drawings and art. Jack and Lucas worked side by side, Lucas laughing as he tried to draw his version of the swings. But just as their enthusiasm hit a peak, a police car rolled up into the parking lot. Silence fell like a stone. Jack's stomach twisted into knots as he watched the officer step out, looking around, scanning the growing crowd. Is he here to shut us down? Jack wondered, anxiety gripping his chest. As the officer approached, he could see a mix of frustration and curiosity painted across the officer's face. What's going on here? He asked, crossing his arms. The crowd shifted, uncertainty brewing again. Jack stepped forward, opening his mouth to speak, but a sudden thought struck him. What if this officer was their chance? What if he could turn this confrontation into an opportunity? With his heart pounding, Jack took a deep breath, ready to fight for what mattered most. Would the officer listen? Would he see the passion in their voices? The weight of the moment hung heavily in the air, and Jack braced himself for whatever came next. Jack felt the surge of adrenaline coursing through him as the officer's gaze fell upon the crowd. He gathered his thoughts like a lifeline and stepped out among the anxious faces. This was his moment to stand tall. Officer, he began, his voice steady despite the tightening in his throat. We're not causing any trouble. We're coming together to save our park. We love this place. It's where our kids play, our memories are made. We just want to celebrate that, and make sure it stays open for everyone. The officer raised an eyebrow, skepticism still etched on his face. You think a picnic will change anything? He asked, folding his arms tighter. The crowd fell silent, looking between Jack and the officer, breaths held. Jack's heart sank for a second. Then, without thinking, he blurted out, No, it's not just about the picnic. It's about connection. This isn't just grass and swings, it's a community. You should see these kids, this park matters to them. It matters to us. Can't you feel that? It's not just a fight against the city, it's a fight for home. The officer hesitated, his expression softening slightly. Behind him, the squad car glimmered under the sun, a symbol of authority that now felt challenged by the warmth radiating from the group. Jack caught sight of Lucas, eyes wide with a mix of hope and worry. Please, officer, Lucas chimed in, his voice small but echoing through the quiet. Will you help us? Jack felt his heart swell with pride for his son. The officer looked down at Lucas, then back at Jack, caught in the moment, and for a brief second, the weight of adult responsibilities waned. The officer uncrossed his arms, a hint of a smile touching his lips. All right, I can't promise you'll win against City Hall, but I can promise I won't break up your little gathering. Just keep it peaceful. Got it? Cheering erupted behind Jack as tension shimmered and fell apart like a broken dam. Lucas jumped up, pulling at his father's hand. Did you hear that, Dad? We're okay. Jack's relief was both palpable and electric. The laughter ignited again, rippling through the crowd, filling the space with joy. The baseball-capped man caught Jack's eye and nodded in approval, the earlier animosity forgotten. "Let us make this the best picnic ever," someone shouted, and suddenly, they were no longer a group of worried friends, but a unified force of laughter and excitement. They began setting up tables, laying out food, and rediscovering the joy that had brought them together in the first place. Jack and Lucas worked side by side, packing up sandwiches and fruit. As they laughed and darted about, Jack couldn't help but feel a lightness in his heart. They were not just saving the park, they were rebuilding their community. But it wasn't all perfect. In the corner of his eye, he noticed a man who had been skeptical at first, still hanging back, his face drawn and pensive. What was he thinking? And beyond that, what would come next when the city got wind of their plans? As the picnic came alive with colors and laughter, Jack's resolve hardened. They were on the brink of something big, but they needed to be ready for whatever challenge lay ahead. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Jack turned to Lucas, a new determination shining in his eyes. "We're going to make sure our voices are heard, buddy. No matter what." "Yeah. We'll shout it from the swings," Lucas replied, filled with a child's unfettered joy. But as they laughed together, a shadow crossed Jack's heart. What if this joy unraveled into a greater challenge? Would they be strong enough to face it together? The day was bright, full of laughter, but the weight of the future still loomed. Jack looked at the crowd, their faces painted with hope, and silently vowed that they would fight together. His heart raced with anticipation. What would the city's response be? And would their community stand strong when tested? The park had united them, now it would define them. As the sun hung high in the sky, laughter and chatter filled the air, weaving a bright tapestry of life into the fabric of the day. Tables adorned with checkered cloths overflowed with home-cooked dishes, each one telling a story of love and care. Jack felt the warmth of the sun on his face, a comforting reminder of what they were trying to protect. "Look, Dad!" Lucas exclaimed, pointing to a group of kids racing towards the swings. "They're having a blast." Jack glanced over, a smile creeping across his face as he watched childhood dreams take flight. It felt good to see the kids, their faces lit up with uninhibited joy. It reminded him of his own carefree days, before life's burdens clouded the simple wonders. Yet, in that happiness was a nagging awareness that not everyone would share in this bliss forever. "Hey, Dad?" Lucas tugged on Jack's sleeve, his excitement unyielding. "Can I go join them?" "Of course. Just stay where I can see you," Jack replied, ruffling his hair. He watched as Lucas dashed towards the swings, his laughter mingling with the roar of elation around him. As he turned back to the gathering, Jack spotted the skeptical man from earlier, still lingering at the edge of the park, watching them. A sense of determination and curiosity brewed inside Jack. There was something about that man, his brow furrowed as if the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. Jack waded through the crowd, pulling away from the festivities just enough to approach him. "Hey there," Jack said, trying to break the ice. "I'm Jack. I noticed you looked a little, deep in thought." The man looked at Jack, surprise flickering across his face. "Rory," he replied, extending a hand. "Yeah, it's just this whole thing. I appreciate what you're doing, but I can't help but wonder if it's enough." Jack frowned, folding his arms across his chest. "What do you mean?" Rory took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the vibrant scene before them. "This park, it's just a piece of land. What happens when the city decides to sell? No picnic, no protest, none of it matters without real change." Jack felt the frustration rise in his gut. "You think we should just give up?" "No, I mean," Rory hesitated, tension etched on his face. "The city's plans are bigger than just a park. There are developments and, money. It's complicated." Jack swallowed hard, each new word hitting him like a punch. "So what, we just sit back and let them take it from us?" "No!" Rory exclaimed, surprising even himself. He ran a hand through his hair, the reverberation of his voice lingering in the air. "Maybe we need to think outside the box. Find allies. Make this not just about our park, about our homes, our community. Jack felt a flicker of hope igniting within him. You mean, like organize a bigger movement? Get more people involved? Exactly, Rory said, his enthusiasm growing. If we can connect with other neighborhoods, other parks, make it a bigger fight, it might just get the city's attention. Jack considered this, the possibilities unfurling in his mind. This was a chance to do more than save a park. They could foster a sprawling community united by a shared goal. But doubts began creeping back in. What if we fail? What if his voice trailed? Then we fail together, Rory cut in, sincere determination dancing in his eyes. But first, let us leverage this moment. You have everyone here, that's a powerful start. Jack felt the weight lifting just a bit. Maybe, just maybe, they could turn this grassroots effort into something substantial. He glanced back at the crowd again, families laughing, bonds revisited. Lucas was swinging high, his face alight with joy. Could they really rally the community and amplify their voices? Would it be enough to confront the city? Jack turned back to Rory, excitement mingling with uncertainty. Let us do it. Let us find a way to make ourselves heard. But in the pit of his stomach, fear loomed. Would this bold step lead to progress or push them into darkness? Would his son's laughter still echo in the park, or would it be silenced by a fight yet to come? The park pulsed with energy, but Jack could already feel the storm approaching. What would it take to keep their joy alive in the face of such uncertainty? Jack's heart raced as he turned his focus back to Rory. The weight of their conversation hung in the air, but there was a momentum, a flicker of something more than just worry. He squared his shoulders. Let us rally everyone, he said, determination flowing through him. We'll need to spread the word, get people on board. Exactly. Begin with the folks here, Rory replied, eyes brightening. Let them know that this isn't just a park issue, it's about our whole community's future. The energy around them was infectious. Jack looked around, noticing families gathered, kids playing, and neighbors sharing sweet moments. All the reasons they needed to fight slumbered in this very atmosphere. He raised his voice, heaving a sigh of purpose. Hey everyone, can I have your attention? Conversations faded into curious glances. A sea of faces turned towards him, and for a moment, he felt the enormity of the moment envelop him. Today, we're not just here to enjoy a day in the park. We have a bigger fight ahead of us. He could see intrigue and concern mirrored in their expressions. The city is planning to take away more than just this park. It's about our homes, our families, our way of life. A few murmurs flitted through the crowd, a sense of unease creeping in. Rory took Jack's side, stepping forward. But we can turn this around. If we come together, connect with other neighborhoods united by this fight, we can be heard. Let us save not just our park but our community. His words hung in the air, electric. A young mother with a small baby cradled in her arms spoke up. What can we do? Spread the word, Jack urged, motioning towards the picnic blankets and food-laden tables. Talk to your friends, share on social media, reach out for support. Let us organize a meeting to discuss our next steps. The excitement was palpable now, a buzz starting to fill the park. Faces that moments before had reflected doubt were now painted with cautious hope, curiosity, and rapidly growing conviction. As laughter echoed from Lucas and his friends on the swings, Jack could feel the eyes on him. He took a deep breath, letting it sink in. This is just the beginning. We can make them listen. We owe it to our children to fight for their future. More voices joined in, a chorus of agreement building around him. Some people raised suggestions of petitions, while others wanted to make flyers. Jack's heart swelled as a sense of camaraderie crackled in the summer air. In this moment, fears transformed into plans, uncertainties into determination. Yet, tucked away in his mind was the gnawing feeling that even a spark could easily be extinguished. Would these fleeting emotions translate into real action? He thought of Lucas, swinging higher, laughter spilling from his lips, and realized the weight of what was at stake. What happens if the fight doesn't go our way? Rory leaned closer, his eyes searching Jack's. Jack felt the heat rise in his chest. Then we adapt. We keep fighting. We don't stop. His voice rang with conviction, hoping to convey the unyielding spirit he felt. The sun began dipping lower on the horizon, casting long shadows in the park. Families started gathering closer, sharing conversations, igniting the fire that Jack dreamed of. But simmering tension lingered beneath that excitement, the prospect of opposition, of resistance from city officials. As Jack watched the laughter around him, he realized the stakes had never been higher. Would their united front be enough? Would fighting for their joy bring them closer, or lead them into turmoil? With a heart full of challenges ahead, he turned to Rory. "Let us finalize our plans, tomorrow's the start. We can't wait too long." Then he felt it, that storm lingering just outside the park, threatening to rain on their parade. Would they withstand it and emerge stronger, or would they fade amid the chaos? Jack's thoughts swirled restlessly, all while Lucas swung blissfully, oblivious to the brewing tempest. Would this spark ignite a movement, or would silence fall once again? Jack woke up the next morning, the sun filtering through his window, bright and relentless. The weight of yesterday's rally still lingered in his chest, both a blessing and a burden. He could hear the bustling sounds outside, life continuing seamlessly. But for him, everything felt suspended, as if he were standing at the edge of a cliff, peering down into uncertainty. He grabbed a quick breakfast, mind racing with thoughts of the meeting they needed to hold. As he took a seat at the kitchen table, he could hear Lucas's laughter filtering through the house. It brought a genuine smile to Jack's face, a reminder of what was at stake. The carefreeness of childhood, the laughter spilling over on the swings, it all depended on him and the courage of their community. "Lucas!" Jack called out, and within seconds, his son burst into the room, a whirlwind of energy. "You ready for another adventure today?" "I want to swing again," Lucas exclaimed, bouncing on his toes. Jack chuckled, tousling Lucas's hair. "We will, buddy. But first, we've got some important things to take care of." He watched as Lucas's excitement transformed into confusion. "Remember the park? We're going to plan how to keep it safe." The boy nodded seriously, his brows drawing together. "What if they take it away?" Jack hesitated. He could see the flicker of worry in Lucas's eyes. "We're going to fight to keep it. We'll talk to people, make signs, and stand together." "Like superheroes?" Lucas smiled, eyes twinkling. "Exactly like superheroes," Jack replied, his heart warming. They arrived at the park where families had begun to gather again, the scent of fresh grass and blooming flowers filling the air. People were chatting, setting up picnic tables, a genuine buzz of anticipation wrapping around them. Rory waved them over, his energy contagious. "People are ready to step up." Rory beamed, handing Jack a stack of colorful flyers. "We can get everyone on board, one conversation at a time." As they handed out flyers, Jack's spirit lifted. Neighbors approached with questions, others shared ideas. Every smile and nod was like fuel, igniting a fire within him. But then, a shadow crossed his path when he spotted a group of city officials, their presence intimidating. The tightness in his chest returned, nodding like a vine. "Rory, over there." "We need to stay focused," Jack whispered, pointing discreetly. "Let us not let them distract us," Rory replied firmly, gathering their group. "We stick to our plan. Show the community that we're united." That's when Jack noticed a woman standing to the side, her expression serious. He approached cautiously. "Hi, I'm Jack. Are you here to join us?" "I want to help," she said, her voice low but filled with conviction. "I'm Ava. My kids love this park, but I've been hearing whispers about the plans." As they talked, Jack felt a connection, a sense of shared purpose. Her insights were eye-opening, and Jack could already see how her involvement could strengthen their efforts. As they exchanged contact details, he realized this was how change began, one conversation, one connection at a time. Just then, a shout erupted from the swings. Lucas had climbed the tallest one, beaming down at his friends. "Look at me!" Jack's chest swelled with pride. Lucas was the embodiment of joy, the reason they were fighting. The laughter was infectious, a reminder that with every challenge, they could still find light. "Everyone!" Jack called out again, his determination renewed. Let us come together. We need a plan. No one can take our joy away from us. Cheers erupted from the crowd, voices rising in an unbreakable chorus. It filled the air, a wave of resolve washing over them. But just as they began to brainstorm ideas, Jack's phone buzzed in his pocket, an alert vibrating with urgency. Curious uncertainty crept over him as he reached for it. What news awaited that could change everything? As he looked at the screen, Jack's breath caught. The storm was closer than he thought, and he wasn't sure if they were ready for what was coming. Would their newfound energy hold against the gathering winds? And what would it take for them to stand firm when the rain started to fall? Jack's heart raced as he faced the screen, the alert not just a message but a declaration. There was public hearing scheduled for the park in just a few days. It felt like the ground had shifted beneath him. The city was moving fast, and he had to be faster. Rory, he said, urgency seeping into his voice, we've got a situation. Rory drew near, the previous cheer diluted by concern. What is it? Jack held out his phone, pointing at the screen. This hearing, if we don't act now, it could change everything. Expressions of alarm ricocheted through the crowd. The atmosphere shifted from excitement to tension. But in that shared vulnerability, Jack could feel a strange spark igniting among them. It was the fire of commitment. Even Lucas, sensing the change, rubbed his small hands together, mirroring the worry on the adults' faces. We need to organize quickly, Ava spoke up, her voice steady, cutting through the mounting anxiety. Get everyone on board and prepare our case. We will need stories, photos, everything that makes this park a part of our lives. Jack nodded, impressed by her determination. He turned to face the gathering throng of community members, the sense of kinship swelling in his chest. Ava's right, he began, raising his voice to Carrie. This park is more than just swings and slides. It's our gathering place. It's our childhood memories. We need to show them why it matters. The crowd nodded, murmurs of agreement flowing like a wave. Many started brainstorming right there, ideas springing up like wildflowers, each person contributing to the magnificent tapestry they were weaving together. Jack felt buoyed in the sea of camaraderie, the burden of doubt beginning to lift. At the heart of it all was Lucas, who had climbed down from the swings and was now watching the adults. His little face reflected determination, not just joyful play. The truth hit Jack like a bolt of lightning. Lucas had been right all along. They were superheroes today. Okay, everyone, Jack called out, summoning everyone's attention again. Let us meet tomorrow to finalize our plans before the hearing. We'll gather stories, photographs, and anything else that shows why we need this park. The commotion kicked into gear, people diving into their pockets for pens, scribbling notes, and exchanging contact information. The energy buzzed, turning anxiety into purpose. As the meeting wrapped and the crowd began to disperse, Ava stepped alongside Jack. I can organize a way to gather photos and testimonials. I know some local reporters who would be interested. Jack smiled, genuinely grateful. That's amazing, Ava. You're going to be an incredible asset to our team. Let us make this happen, Jack. Together. He watched as she turned to start mobilizing others, and something inside him glowed. This was it. The community was rising, but as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the park, doubt clawed its way back up to the surface. Would they really be able to fight against the interests that wanted to strip the park away? What if the hearing didn't go in their favor? With the weight of tomorrow looming like a cloud overhead, Jack remained at the park, looking out at the swings that now felt charged with hope and fear. He squeezed Lucas's shoulders, pulling him close. Hey, you ready for our big adventure tomorrow? Lucas's eyes shone, full of the kind of courage that only children possess. More than ready, Dad. But as they started to head home, they passed a town hall worker casually inspecting the park grounds their opposition was watching. Jack felt a shot of cold fear mingle with his determination. What would they find when they returned, and was their fight truly just beginning? The sun had barely risen the next morning when Jack felt a familiar flutter of nervous energy in his stomach. The park lay quiet, a sanctuary still wrapped in dew, but he knew today would unleash a storm of voices fighting for its future. As he walked toward the park, he could see Ava, already setting up tables under the oak tree, photographs from the community spread out like colorful flags of memory. Lucas trailed behind, his small feet crunching the gravel, unknowingly stepping into a battle for joy and echoing laughter. "Look at this!" Ava called out, holding up a photo of Lucas on the swing, grinning as if the world was his. "This is what we're fighting for. This is home." Jack smiled, his heart swelling. Each picture was a testament to the happy moments that had unfolded here, the laughter shared over ice cream, the friendships that budded beneath the branches. He knew they had to amplify this feeling, a feeling they all cherished. As more community members arrived, the park filled with a flurry of activity. People brought stories, some written down, others shared during animated conversations. The air hummed with purpose, and for the first time, Jack felt less like a lone soldier and more like a general rallying his troops. "Remember, we need to be united today," he said, his voice steady. "The council needs to hear from each of us. It's not just about the park. It's about all of us." "Right," Rory chimed in, rallying a group of children who had come, including Lucas. "You guys bring your best stories, okay? We want them to see how much this place means to you." Jack watched as Lucas nodded, puffing his chest out in declaration. The pride in Jack's chest grew in that moment. He knew Lucas was not just a spectator but a part of something much larger. As the time approached for the hearing, they gathered in a circle, holding hands like a bridge uniting their hearts. Standing at the center, Jack absorbed the strength from each person. This was a family. No matter how distant they started, they joined arms to protect one another. "Let us go make some noise," Jack said, a hint of excitement breaking through his nerves. They marched as a unit toward the town hall, a motley crew of hope and determination. Children's laughter and shouts echoed around them, a joyful soundtrack underscoring the serious business ahead. The air crackled with anticipation, but as they reached the steps of the hall, a sudden wave of uncertainty washed over Jack. He turned to see Lucas looking up at him, wide-eyed, maybe sensing his father's tumult. "Dad, it's going to be okay, right?" Lucas's voice was soft but steady, a grounding force amidst the storm. Jack knelt down, meeting his son's gaze. "Yes, buddy. We're strong together. Remember, we have each other." With that, the group moved forward into the building, the weight of their collective stories pressing against the cold walls of bureaucracy. As they entered the meeting room, the reality hit them. The size of their challenge loomed. At the front of the room sat the council members, their faces serious, some even bored while shuffling papers. But Jack focused on the sea of supporters behind him. The faces filled with determination gave him the strength to step forward. Yet, as he prepared to speak, he caught a glimpse of a figure in the back, an unfamiliar man, handsome with a commanding presence. The stranger looked intrigued by what was about to unfold, and Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this man held a crucial piece to their puzzle. "Okay," Jack whispered, swallowing hard. "We're ready for them." But as he took a breath to begin, the stranger's faint smile hinted at something unexpected. A potential ally? Or a new adversary? Today would change everything. Jack felt it in his bones. But how would it all unfold? Jack stood at the front of the packed town hall, the air humming with tension and hope. The council members sat behind a long table, their expressions unreadable, yet their presence filled the room with the weight of decisions that could shape his family's future. Jack's heart raced. Lucas was in the crowd, his small face peeking above the sea of adults, a light of sincerity shining in his eyes. "Thank you all for gathering," Jack began, his voice steadying despite the anxious flutter in his chest. "We're here today because we care about our park. More than that, we care about our community, our children, our memories." He glanced over at Lucas, who nodded emphatically, fueling Jack's fire. "This park isn't just a piece of land, it's where we come together. Where laughter fills the air, where friendships blossom." As he spoke, Jack felt the resolve of the crowd wrap around him like a warm embrace. He continued, sharing stories of laughter, kids swinging high, parents sharing meals on picnics, and barbecues that connected them all. "We love this place," he pleaded, feeling the urgency rise within him. If we lose it, we're losing a part of ourselves. Suddenly, the stranger from the back stood up, his deep voice slicing through the tension. "I'd like to speak," he declared, presenting himself with confidence. The crowd shifted, surprise rippling through. Who was he? Jack felt a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "Thank you," the man said, stepping forward. "I'm David, a resident of this town. I've been observing how deeply this community values your park." He gestured compellingly. "And I believe I can help." Jack's pulse quickened. Was he an ally? David continued, speaking from the heart. "I was one of those children who grew up here, playing in these very swings. This park shaped my childhood, just as it has for so many of us. It's time we make a stronger case." Smiles broke through the crowd. David pulled out a stack of photographs, lifting them in the air. "Let us show the city what this park really means. We'll gather stories, create a video, something they cannot ignore." The room erupted into applause. Jack felt the relief flood through him, lifting like a weight from his shoulders. This was the hope they needed. The next council member spoke up, skeptically eyeing the commotion. "And what makes you think any of this will change our decision?" "Because we will be loud," Jack replied confidently, emboldened by David's support. "We'll share our stories, show the joy this park brings to our kids. We'll collect signatures and bring our voices to the streets if we need to. This isn't just a battle for a park, it's a stand for our community." As Jack continued to present their plans, he felt the crowd rallying behind him, energy surging like waves at the beach. Stories began to pour forth, parents sharing their fondest memories, children describing their favorite swings, and tearful voices emphasizing how this park felt like home. When Jack looked at Lucas, he was standing tall next to his friends, holding a sign that read, "Save our park." Jack couldn't resist a smile. "Together, we are stronger. Let us bridge our efforts." David chimed in again, sparking buses of ideas that boomed with enthusiasm. "Let us turn this into a movement." Suddenly, the council members began to shift uneasily, muttering among themselves. Their composure began to crack, and respect grew for the passionate group before them. As the meeting continued, Jack and David worked beautifully in sync, alternating passionate speeches and concrete plans, sharing the multitude of hearts backing this mission. It felt, at that moment, nothing could extinguish their spark. But reality still loomed ahead. After hours of impassioned pleas, one of the council members, a woman with sharp features, finally spoke. "We understand the community's attachment," she said, her voice steady. "But we must also consider budgets. It may be difficult to preserve this park." An audible sigh swept through the room, but Jack's resolve tightened, racing against the clock. "It's more than just numbers," he blurted out, passion coursing through his veins. "Look around. If you take away the park, you're robbing our children and this community of love, laughter, and connection. Money cannot buy memories." A silence fell, mulling over Jack's words. In that stillness, Lucas's little voice piped up from the crowd, "I just want to fly high on the swings again." His innocence struck a chord, and the tension broke, laughter lacing the air. "Exactly. That's the spirit we're trying to preserve," David exclaimed, turning to the council. "This is about families, belonging, joy. This is about _home_." As more voices joined in, stories flew like confetti through the air, filling the room with a palpable energy that could not be ignored. Each anecdote forged a connection, reminding everyone present what truly mattered. Finally, the public hearing came to a close. The council members exchanged glances, clearly shaken yet visibly moved by the resounding chorus from the crowd. "If we allow a small community to value something as important as this park, perhaps there is a chance we can propose new funding options," one of them said cautiously. "We can examine further before making a final decision, but further meetings will be required." Jack felt a swell of hope. This wasn't just a win, it was a chance at reinstating their park as the heart of the community. As families filtered out of the meeting space, Jack felt Lucas run up to him, excitement lighting his little face. "Did we do it, Dad?" "Not just yet, but we have hope, buddy. We're in this together. They stepped outside, a kaleidoscope of joy and relief painting their surroundings. Jack beamed back at David, who nodded, the conviction still burning bright. As they walked home, the sun sinking low, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the start of something extraordinary. Together we can face anything, Dad, Lucas said, grinning, his small hand firmly grasping Jack's. Yes, together, Jack echoed, heart full, dreaming of the vibrant future ahead. As they turned a corner toward their home, Jack glanced back at the park, lit by the golden hues of sunset, feeling a newfound possibility shimmering like the last remnants of sunlight. Let us make sure everyone hears our story, he concluded, a triumphant smile blossoming on his face. And in that moment, Jack knew they wouldn't just save the park, they were sparking a movement of heart and strength, one that would teach not just their family, but their entire community about the power of unity and love. Now was the time to share that light. Don't wait another second. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss our next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below your reactions and feelings about the ending. Let us know what it meant for you. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your support is everything. Let us carry on this journey together.